Welcome to the Messy Middle. It's your favorite podcast that covers the world of law, tech, politics, the world of work, with some fun and pop culture mixed in. That's right, fun and pop culture mixed in. We have an amazing show for you guys here today. On the grab bag, that's part of the segment at the end of the show where we really dig into the fun and pop culture segment. We're going to have back our fashion guru, Emilio. That's right, Mindy, Mike, and I, next month, will be traveling to Europe. So we're going to be digging in with Emilio. How do we Europeanify our look and really upgrade that fashion so we can stride the halls of power in Paris, in Belgium, in London, as Americans, holding our heads high. But before that, we also have a pretty good guest today, I'd say. A pretty exciting guest. That's right, we have former Secretary of State, John Kerry. That's right, Messy Middleheads. John Kerry coming on the Messy Middle today. We're going to be talking to him. He's had probably one of the most extraordinary political lives of the last 50 years. He served in Vietnam. He came back, led anti-war protests, served 3 decades in the Senate, also was the Democratic nominee for president in 2004. After that, and a remarkable career as Secretary of State and then climate envoy, a cabinet-level position in the Biden administration. So truly, truly an extraordinary political life, and we're going to dig into it here on the Messy Middle. And before that, one of the things that's been a through line through Senator Kerry and Secretary Kerry's career is he has been one of the premier diplomats on behalf of the United States over the last 50 years. He's been a key negotiator who represented the country in the Paris Climate Accords, also in nuclear negotiations with Iran. So my question for each of you as we start out here, guys, what's your negotiating style? Are you a half-a-loaf person? Do you bang the table? How are you in the used car lot? Do you get that best deal? What do you think, Mindy?
My general negotiation style is pretty compromising, win-win.
Win-win.
Kind of a win-win. I don't need to win every point.
No?
But I need to win the important ones that I care about.
Which are the ones which are the important ones that you really feel like you're gonna stick your neck out for?
In a used car lot?
Yeah. It's price.
It's definitely the price.
Yeah, it's a price.
Yeah, it also depends on, what you're negotiating for. Is it a rare asset?
I don't know. Is it?
Right? I think in the circumstances will determine what your negotiation. You should be able to be adaptive to the circumstance.
Have you ever bought a used car?
No.
Okay, but if you did, what would you? It would be if you cared about that. Well, it would be price. That would be the number one thing.
I think safety.
Safety. Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Mike? What's your negotiation style?
I would say I'm probably better at focused on the long game than I am in the immediate returns.
Okay.
So I'm probably a half a loaf guy.
You're a half a loaf guy, patient, playing the long game.
Playing the long game.
Right.
I also consider myself a great negotiator because mentally, if I do happen to come out on the losing side when, say, negotiating the price of a new car, I'll just convince myself it wasn't that important, and I don't care about it.
That's good.
So it's like,
so self-deception is a key to your negotiation style.
Like, what's another $80 a month? What's that in the grand scheme of things?
And then as a comms guy, of course, you are just selling whatever it is that you sold. You won.
Consistently spinning it into a winner in my head.
Yeah, and how does that work with other people? How successful are you spinning that win to the other person?
My wife has a phrase, toxic positivity, which she's applied in circumstances like this. Where I'm like, we got the car you wanted. It's
okay.
Maybe a few grand more than you wanted to spend, but I'm like, but it's great. I was like, I really got him down. I mean, I drove a hard bargain in there, and she's like, this is just toxic.
And have you ever bought a used car or no?
I have. I've bought used and new cars. So
okay.
That's a whole episode unto itself. That's a very challenging process. But what about you?
It's a whole episode unto itself, you think?
My tales from the car lot could fill a lot.
There's going to be some bonus messy middle content here.
The real messy middle mob will learn about that. Yes. But what about you? How are you at the car dealership?
So good question. I and Mindy will not be surprised at this. I use Costco to buy my cars because my negotiation style is very direct. I tell people what I want, and like not actually necessarily a big bluffer because it's all about credibility. And I just kind of want to get the yes and tell you where my walk away point is. So for Costco, again, no free plugs on the pod.
No free ads.
No free ads. But on Costco, basically what happens is you tell them what they want. You through the Costco program, they pre-negotiate the price with the dealer, and you go up and you have the price already set, and then it's done.
Where do you pick up the vehicle, from a Costco or the dealer?
From the dealer. Basically, they do you put it in their website, they send it out, and the dealer says, yes, I will meet the Costco price, and they're negotiating on behalf of everybody. So do I get the absolute best deal? I don't know, but do I get a good deal? You bet I do. And that's the kind of negotiator I am.
Avoidant.
Well,
that is a style.
It is a style.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, direct. I will be direct. I like a good negotiation is getting to yes without even a negotiation, which is what I've done there.
Well, if you value your time, that's a good approach.
And I do value my time, Mindy.
Right. Yeah.
You know who else's time we're going to value? We are going to value Secretary John Kerry's time here, because I think, we have, I mean, maybe we'll get into him and whether or not he's ever negotiated for a used car. But what he has done is he's done some other deals like the Paris Climate Accords. He's done the U.S.-Iran nuclear agreement. And one thing that is clear is that this is somebody who, again, has lived an extraordinary political life, and somebody who really has been in the messy middle. Somebody who went to war and then came home and led an anti-war movement. Somebody who, on behalf of the United States government, has gotten in there and negotiated points both with friends and enemies and represented those interests and then also compromised. It's a life, an extraordinary life, that has been lived in the messy middle. And we're going to go to him right now and learn more from our friend, Secretary John Kerry. Secretary Kerry, welcome to the messy middle. It's fabulous to have you.
I'm happy to be with you. I can't tell you I've been on the messy middle before, but I probably have.
We're going to explore the messy middle a bit in your life. Hopefully you've been in there a little bit. So,
I have. For better or worse, I have.
This is a LinkedIn podcast, so we usually like to start and kind of walk through people's careers. And I have to say, with yours, it's pretty extraordinary how much is covered. So we'll have to bump around a little bit. I wanted to start, if it's okay with you, actually in your childhood. I know your dad was a member of the Foreign Service, and that one of the things that you did was that you went to school for a time in Switzerland. So my question for you is, later on, becoming somebody who was a diplomat, a negotiator, to what extent did your time living abroad there inform your later work? And was that an area where, because I know President Obama also lived as a kid abroad, was that something that you guys ever talked about or bonded about?
Yeah, I think we both agreed that it opened up a vista that otherwise would never have been available to us, either of us. Very different, but nevertheless, when you live in another country with another language, with cultures and customs and all surrounding you, you better learn it and you better immerse yourself in it and understand it in order to really be able to function properly. My dad was in the Foreign Service, and that was back in the early days after World War II. So Berlin was still a very destroyed city. And as a kid, I used to bicycle around. I remember seeing Hitler's bunker completely blown up and the Reichstag burnt out. And, you had a real sense, and it was a military city. It was the French and the British and the Americans who shared it with the Russians, and the Russians was a line you didn't cross. So it was all very Cold War, eerie, scary to some degree. I found my experience really opened up my eyes to other people's problems and to the nature of statehood for other nations. I mean, we weren't the only country that walked around saying, "Oh, we're great, we're a great country." Yeah, every country thinks it's a great country. And you need to learn how to respect that notion or you just don't get anywhere.
I guess that you had an object lesson on what it was like to live in the aftermath of great powers, right? How much did that influence when you later on?
It obviously didn't. I mean, I didn't know what a great power was at that age,
Probably
but I
not.
was but I was deeply impacted as a child. I mean, as 11, 12, 13-year-old and so forth, with the sights. I mean, the war was, you know, the war had ended in 1945, and this was 1953, 4, 5, et cetera. So I was 7 years old, and so 8 years old, playing in German bunkers,
Huh.
and it taught me a lot about the impact of global failure to avoid war. And I think that always had an impact on me in terms of being involved in foreign policy.
But then
Certainly,
you chose to later on you chose to volunteer and serve in Vietnam. So for me,
I did.
so
I did.
what was the through line there? If seeing the effect of war and
Well,
yet you
some
chose to
people found
serve.
that some people found that confusing. I did not. I believed in service to country. My dad was an Army Air Corps pilot in World War II. He didn't see action. He got sick. He had tuberculosis and eventually mustered out. But loads of contacts of our family, members of our family, died during the war and during that period of time. And it inevitably taught me something about service to nation, duty, honor, and country. And I felt that I was very lucky. I went to a great university, and my sense was that your government was calling. This is 1965, 66, mind you, before the war protests had really reached their pinnacle. And a lot of us just felt we owed it to, the old saying, to whom much is given, much is expected. And we thought we needed to live up to that. What the reason perhaps I protested the war when I came home and felt so
Yes.
bad about it, was angry about it, was the fact that we were lied to. I mean, it taught me something about later becoming a senator and being lied to about Iraq and the evidence that they had of nuclear weapons. And in Vietnam, we were lied to with regard to this being the great fight against communism. And if we didn't stop communism there, it was going to sweep through all of Southeast Asia and blah, the domino theory. And the fact is, it was a civil war. It was, Ho Chi Minh actually wrote a letter to the president of the United States, Harry Truman, and asked him for help to develop his country. And we literally did not understand what was happening there, and we learned the hard way.
So for you, it seems like obviously service and patriotism was a reason to go to Vietnam. But was it also the same through line and so then coming home and protesting the Vietnam? And if so, was it hard when people then would attack your patriotism and when you came back and said, "Well, you shouldn't be protesting. This isn't about service." How did you reconcile those things?
Well, it was hard. I still even think about it to this day. I mean, it became an issue in the presidential race.
Yep.
There were people who didn't like me because I spoke out against the war. And some of them chose to lie about me and my record and so forth. And it was sad. I mean, honestly, disappointing in many many respects. But yes, we were a whole bunch of us. For effect, I wasn't alone.
No, of
A
course.
whole bunch of veterans of Vietnam became the Vietnam Veterans Against the War, and they, guys in wheelchairs and on crutches and people with multiple Purple Hearts and amazing records, all stood up and those who could stand and fought for the better side of the country that they loved, and that was the side that honored the truth, that didn't ask people to go to war and fight for something that wasn't clearly definable, which is absolutely where we see today in Iran. I mean, these are through stories that probably don't change. I guess as we get older, we sort of learn that, having seen and lived a lot of history. But democracy can't work if you don't tell the truth, and if you don't know what the facts are, it's very hard to govern. And so we're in a crisis right now of our own making because people have allowed facts to be left by the wayside and are polarizing people purposely. I mean, the lies you hear on a daily basis are just extraordinary. It's become a norm, and I think that's part of the anger that people in the country feel, is this sense of, hope, sense of disdain for those who are supposed to be responsible in positions of public responsibility, who just aren't, and they don't do that. But so back then, it took me a year or so of kind of, really deciding, okay, I'm willing to go out there and try to help stop the war. And we lost 58,000 plus soldiers in that war, longest war, in American history. And it tore families apart, brothers and fathers, and people didn't talk to each other. Some went to other countries. I mean, there was just a huge divide in America. And we were really trying to find a way to bring people back. I remember in one demonstration in New York City, several women, old ladies, were actually standing on the wayside, and they said, "You guys should support the troops. Why don't you support the troops?" And one of the soldiers yelled back, "Lady, we are the troops." And so it was just, real,
And you were.
real differences in where people were coming from in that period of time.
Okay, a couple of follow-ups on for there. I would like to ask you about what you were saying about the 2004 campaign and its relationship to the truth, but I'm going to come back to that. Because I did want to say, what seems to me clear is that you are somebody who is a student of history, right? And looking at these things. Right now, later on, if you fast forward, you become someone who is representing the United States in negotiations, diplomatic negotiations at the Paris Climate Accords, the U.S.-Iran negotiations, all of these things. How critical is an understanding of history to be an effective negotiator at that stage? And also, to me, it feels like the world is almost becoming ahistorical as we get so distracted by whatever's next and whatever's next and whatever's next. So do you agree with that? And then what's your advice for other people who are in this sort of arena of diplomacy in a world that's becoming less sort of based on history?
Well, that's a great question, and it goes to the real core of good diplomacy, and particularly to the core of the challenges we face right now in the Middle East. One thing I know for certain: if you do not know the history of the nation you're talking to, and the culture of the people you're talking to, you will not be successful. If you haven't spent time thinking that through and understanding it. And let me just tell you, unfortunately, President Trump, in my judgment, has no understanding whatsoever about Iranians. He thinks you can just, pound them with missiles and have your airplanes, bombing them, and they're going to submit. Well, look at him. He stood up and he said, in the first days of the war, rise up, people of Iran, rise up, he said. And the goal was to have regime change, literally, with the people taking over and a whole new government. Well, that hasn't happened. And then he said, I want unconditional surrender. I can't think of anything less achievable with the Iranians than sort of unconditional surrender, because they are among the proudest people on the planet. I can't tell you. I mean, you have to know the history. There's several thousands of years of history. We're celebrating 250 years. This is a nation where they invented algebra. They invented, they developed chess, and they play chess. And if you don't understand that, you're going to have a hard time negotiating with them. Well, we went through 4 years of negotiations to get rid of a nuclear weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And we got rid of a nuclear weapon. They were weeks away from the ability, if they chose to break out, they could have made a nuclear weapon. But the Ayatollah Khomeini actually decided, no, we're not going to go after a nuclear weapon. Now, people like the Prime Minister of Israel and others will say, oh, well, they were going to, or they were always dedicated to doing it, and they were always going to be doing it in secret. Well, maybe. But We developed a system where we would know if they were doing it. And we took the 2 weeks of time and stretched it out into more than a year that it would be for a breakout by them. And because we put 130 or so additional inspectors on the ground in Tehran, we had television cameras at every facility that made any centrifuges and tried to enrich. We had, they had to destroy thousands of centrifuges they were using to enrich. We lowered their enrichment to a restricted level of 3.67%. 3.67%. To make a nuclear weapon, you got to have at least 60, but more likely 90 percent enrichment, and that they don't have that. They're not near that. So we knew, and we knew it. We didn't just, it wasn't Barack Obama who went into a room and said, "Oh boy, I know all this stuff. I've got the answers." No, we had the most rigorous intelligence sharing with France, Germany, Britain, China, Russia, and Israel too. And even the Israeli intelligence folks agreed that the nuclear agreement made under President Obama was working. It was working.
So then,
And-
let me have a very weird hypothetical here.
Sure.
Let's say that despite everything else, you were Secretary of State right now. You were sitting there, and you're sitting next to President Trump, and he, despite all indications of the contrary, says, "John, I want your advice. What should I do now? What is the thing to do?" And let's just assume what is the advice that you give to him in a situation like that?
Well, first of all, I have to underscore how hypothetical this is.
Yeah, it's quite hypothetical. We're going to agree, but let's as a
There's
thought
no
experiment.
way, there's no way. I mean, I don't know if he asked even his own military folks or whatever, but I can just tell you this: he is dead wrong when he says many of the things he said about Iran. Not everything. I mean, Iran has been a bad actor, terrible actor.
Yeah.
And Iran was messing around with the Houthis, with Hezbollah, with missiles, and they are literally hoping that Israel would disappear. All those things are real. I have no illusions about how tough Iran is because we had to negotiate with them for that period of time. But they also are practical and can be, where their interests can align.
So how do you get to
And they
yes with them?
proved-
How do you get to a deal? Because you did. People
You have to-
complained about the deal, but you got to a deal. How did you do it? What's
Yeah, but let me be very clear.
Yeah.
This morning, I saw Secretary Hegseth at a press conference say, because that President Trump pulled out of that terrible deal, which would have given them a nuclear weapon. No, Mr. Secretary, no, Mr. President, it would not have given them a weapon unless what everybody that I mentioned, Chinese, Russians, French, German, UK, US, and Israel were all dead wrong. The Israeli intelligence said when President Trump was about to pull out, "Don't pull out, it's working." That's different from the prime minister, but the intel people or professionals said it's working. And so if they did try, which we had to say, Ronald Reagan, when he went to Reykjavik to negotiate with President Gorbachev,
Yeah.
said, trust but verify. We actually changed that. We had a saying, don't trust and verify. So we not only didn't trust, we verified. So we knew we had to guard against the ability that they might try to go break out. They might dig under the mountain. They might do this. But we set up a system which really guaranteed that we would know monkey business was happening. They were doing it. Between the inspectors on the ground, our daily visits to facilities. You can't do this if you don't develop an enrichment process of 90%. So we knew that we were presenting the Senate. And by the way, the Senate and the House, ultimately, we won. We put this terrific, strong agreement in place. Now, you can disagree with one thing in it or another, but you can't lie about it and say it would have given them a nuclear weapon. And if those are the ways you operate, if that's the rationale for this war, then once again, young men and women are being asked to go defend America's interests in a war that we didn't have to fight. Because all of this could have been avoided if we had simply stuck with it and applied it. And it would be a very different set of options that the world faces today. And look, when President Trump went in, um, there wasn't a problem with the Straits of Hormuz. When he went in, nobody was sitting there saying, "Oh, Iran has about to have a nuclear weapon." So what he said was going to happen, i.e., the rising up of the Iranian people, the taking back of their government, all of that. None of that's happened. We're in a worse off position today than we were in the beginning because the Straits of Hormuz are shut. And obviously, the president's flailing around trying to figure out how we're going to get this open. And he basically, he sort of supports the ceasefire because he wants to get to the negotiating table, but he really can't. It's hard for him to do that with the Straits of Hormuz in captivity, and with the IRGC not really clear about how to negotiate, where you're negotiating. And so it's a real problem right now. It's a big problem.
Let's transition to something that I believe that you are more of an optimist on, which is paradoxically the situation that we have. Maybe a pragmatic optimist, but an optimist nonetheless when it comes to how we are going to tackle climate change. So, because I know that you've been spending a lot of time on that. So, what does it mean? Like, I have kids who are Gen Z. A lot of us do, and a lot of them are quite concerned about this. How do you convince people to become a climate optimist in today's world?
But by presenting the facts. Actually, the facts speak for themselves here. I mean, once again. The concern for what's happening with the climate, which is now not just change, it's a crisis. I mean, we have insurance companies pulling out of insuring homes in Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, California. I mean, come on, folks. The amount of damage each year that you all and others, taxpayers around the country are spending, trillions. We've spent several trillions of dollars just cleaning up a mess after these terrible storms. And the storms are more intensive, not because John Kerry says so, because the scientists say so, the science says so, the physics. This is about physics and mathematics, not political conjecture or some pet project of a president. And when 90% of the warming of the earth, of the heat, goes into the ocean, and that creates a warming of the ocean, not to mention the particulates of fossil fuel pollution that fall into the ocean are changing the chemistry of the ocean more than it's been changed in millions of years. And so the warming of the ocean sends moisture up into the atmosphere, which travels around the planet and falls in these massive torrential cloudbursts and storms where you get a year's worth or 2 years worth of rain in a matter of hours. Now, if you can't respond to that, you're really not in touch with the reality. And the fact is that technology is now being developed. There are many, many people investing. The Wall Street Journal recently said the energy transition is now unstoppable. And Bloomberg recently said that there's a headline in the Bloomberg report in the World Economic Forum. And the headline was, you know who believes in climate change? Headline, the stock market. And the stock market is going, very strong on those companies that are now addressing the climate crisis. So we have, and this is something I know about because I'm now co-chair of a fund called Galvanize that is working very hard to accelerate the transition by investing, proving to people you can make money. The good old American way of entrepreneurial activity, go out there creatively, come up with a new thing. So we have fusion, which is now developing close to producing some electricity. Nuclear is coming back, small modular nuclear reactors. Battery storage is now so much stronger than it has been that we're able to balance the delivery of power by using solar, wind, and some gas and geothermal and other things so that you are delivering what's called firm energy where you know your business isn't going to shut down because you don't have the energy. You're not going to, you're not going to be deprived of your favorite television show in the evening because the television won't, go. No, we want abundance of energy. And we want that energy to be cheaper and healthier and help make us more secure than our current situation does. So this is not a debate about ice melting or whatever. This is about good economics. The
Yeah, and
economics of the energy transition are good for people. The health benefits of not having pollution go up into the air that kills people, literally kills people. About 7 or 8 million people die every year from bad lung input. And people with heart disease or emphysema or COPD or other things are hugely negatively affected by that, and healthcare costs go back up. So, bottom line, health, national security, and economics, the economic future of our nation, will be defined largely by this energy transition. And it is being defined that way in ways that are making a lot of people a fair amount of money.
yeah, I mean, look, those are win-win-win situations when you can do that and people understand. And I think that people have maybe underpriced some of the geopolitical risk and fossil fuels as well, which we're seeing back to our earlier conversation. So I think that
Well, they
you're gonna
have.
see,
They don't, in some cases, they don't even tally it up.
yeah,
They don't measure it. There's no accounting for black lung disease, for the sludge of coal sludge that pollutes rivers and lakes, makes them unswimmable or unfishable. I mean, nobody accrues that. What about all the health things I just mentioned? Has anybody done an accounting of the cost to the health system of all that? So that's the dishonesty that we have today in what's happening in at least in our democracy in the United States, that people are either not telling the truth or not looking for the facts, and we're living with a factless political system, feckless and factless.
feckless and factless, yeah. Well,
That
we
is
didn't.
unfortunately.
I know you only have so much time, so unfortunately, we didn't. I'm sure, going back to the 2004 campaign, which I said we were maybe going to talk to. I think there's a rich. Maybe we'll have you come back to the messy middle and talk about that next time. But we do on
Be
the
happy
messy.
to do it sometime.
But
I really would. Be happy to.
on the messy middle, we do like to get into a little bit of fun and pop culture as well. And on the way out, our next segment, Mike, Mindy, and I are going to be going to Europe. And we are going to be showing up, trying to show up as diplomats ourselves. So my question to you, sort of more fun question for you, is: to what extent did you ever think of where you were going when you were dressing? Like, were you more likely to do a pocket square in Paris or a scarf in I don't know, Istanbul? I don't know. Like, to what extent did you think about the fashion?
I hate to say it, but I'm pretty boring in that respect. I really didn't. I mean, I had strong feelings about it. I mean, some people said you wear a blue suit too much or something. I don't know. But like everybody, the culture of ties has changed. I mean, things are, dress is changing. People are far more relaxed now. And when people fly, the airports, everybody's in their pajamas,
Yeah, exactly.
sweats or whatever. It's not exactly most
Yes,
appetizing.
I definitely sometimes will wear my soft pants on the plane, but
There you
that's
go.
probably
There you
revealing
go.
too much.
Comfort. You got to be comfortable.
Yes, but again, I believe you have the record of the most miles traveled of any Secretary of State ever. So I think that you would know about how to travel in a way that lets you show up in a way that you do what you need to do best for the country.
Well, it was really tough. I'll tell you. I mean, I'm not complaining about the fact that we had an airplane, but the airplane was an old Boeing that Secretary George Shultz flew around in and battled it on, blah, 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 all the way to this day. And it has a tiny little bathroom. You know, those bathrooms when you get in a Boeing or Airbus or
Sure.
whatever, they're not, unless you're up in the front or something, they're not the widest, biggest things in the world. And we didn't even have a shower. So sometimes you'd arrive in a country and you have to go straight to the meeting.
Uh-huh.
And
I guess you said sit on the other side there, I mean, I guess, a little
people were
distance.
pretty bedraggled, pretty stretched out. Yeah.
Well, Secretary Kerry, really
No
appreciate
complaints.
you.
No complaints. I will tell you truthfully, best job in the world. And being secretary, very, very privileged to have been there, and proud of the things that President Obama led us to get engaged in and to try to make a difference. It was a great time.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your perspective with us. And, again, like truly over the last 50 years, one of the most continuous and extraordinary political lives. And I've read your memoir, and just the point of every day is extra is such a deeply resonant idea. And so appreciate that you continue to make the most of all of your days, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Have a great trip to Europe.
Thank you. Take care.
Enjoy. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Welcome back to the Messy Middle. It's time for the grab bag. That's the part of the pod where we dig in the fun and pop culture part of the pod. And in what is not at all an awkward transition from the former Secretary of State, John Kerry, we're going to be digging into some fashion advice. We saw that he was up for talking about it, and now we're going to be talking about it with our friend and fashion guru, Emilio. Yes, welcome back, Emilio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we need you. We need your help. We need your help. We've come to you before, and Mike, Mindy, and I, we've got a trip coming up to Europe. So we really need to look good. So what we wanted to do was have you come back, because we did a trip last month. We went to Washington, D.C. We did our best in our own little kind of, for me, inept way to try and incorporate some of the advice you gave us before, but we need the feedback. You need to be honest with us. Tell us what's up so we can lift our game, because we know in Europe, you got to bring that A fashion game. Am I right, sir?
100%.
So let's go to the picture. You have a picture, I believe, of the three of us from the Semaphore World Economy Conference and how we dressed. Am I right?
I do, exactly. It's right here.
Okay. And you can see the three of us. I'm wearing what looks like, where do you want to start? Who do you want to start with?
Let's start with you.
Okay, well, Emilio. Yeah, let's start with me. That'd be great. So I'm there. I've got a navy suit, like a purplish tie, a blue shirt, tan shoes. Looks pretty good, right? Am I doing good?
No,
not good. Okay. All right. So how do we, I'm open to your feedback, sir. I am open to your feedback. How do I improve?
Perfect. Okay, let's start with the things that you did good.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Let's start with the things I did good.
So the suit is not that bad.
Not that bad.
Yes.
Did you hear that, Mike? Not that bad.
Ringing endorsement.
Not that good, but
Okay.
not that
Well,
bad.
all right. We were halfway there.
You can do better. The trousers need a better fit.
Trousers need a bit of fit. What does that mean? What does a bit of fit mean?
A better fit.
A better fit.
better fit.
I see. So too loose.
Too loose. Too
loose
baggy.
trousers. I need to. American men are not so into tight-fitting trousers.
You're
but
going to Europe?
I'm
right?
going to Europe. Good point. Excellent point. Okay, so we're going to tighten up my pants.
Yes.
What else are we going to do?
Well, the tie doesn't look good.
The tie doesn't look good. Why doesn't the tie
Too
look
thin.
good?
It looks
too
like it's on
thin.
Ozempic.
The tie looks like it's on Ozempic.
Yeah.
So we need to fatten up the tie.
We need to fatten up the tie. We need to, you need to do, it looks so well tied up here.
Too tied up.
Yeah.
Oh, like it's too tight. I'm
too
I'm
tight.
choking myself off there.
Yeah, you are.
So
Yeah,
I noticed you today, for the listeners at home, you actually also are wearing a maroon tie, but you've got kind of a loose fit. You got that top button unbuttoned and a little bit of space there. Is that how I got to go? And
exactly. Let it breathe. Let it hang a bit here.
I do sometimes have I might have some hair poking out for me at the top of my chest.
That's fine. That's very European.
That's very European. Okay. All right. So that works. Great.
That works.
Oh, this is very practical feedback.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Now you're going to my shoes. They're Is
I
how it-
never want to see them again.
never want to see the again.
No,
I'm wearing them at the moment. Not really, but if I was, I would have to probably throw them out the window or something.
Yeah, we need to burn them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Look,
no.
I'm here for you. Like I'm clay to be molded in your hands, Emilio.
Yeah. So for next time,
Yeah.
just go with a polo shirt
Polo shirt.
and like keep the trousers.
Yep.
We need to change the shoes though. Let's go with loafers.
Loafers.
Yeah, and a blazer, and you're good.
Loafers, blazers, polo, and I'm good.
Yeah.
That's all I got to do.
Easy.
So even in Brussels, even if I'm out there like sashaying and meeting like very very fancy people, I don't know. The people don't really sashay in Brussels. I don't know why I said that. But if I were, then okay, then I would be okay if I have a blazer, I have a polo, and that is more European.
Well,
Do I
it
need a
is
pocket
European.
square? How about a pocket square?
No.
But could I have a pocket square? I'd like a pocket square.
Like if I approve, yes.
Oh, okay.
But not like don't choose it yourself.
No willy-nilly pocket squaring. All right, that's fair. Okay, well I feel like I got some good feedback. How about who do we go to next?
Mike.
Great.
Okay. Not good.
Oh, let's describe the fit first, please.
Let's describe the fit.
I'll take the lead here. It looks like I've got a very traditional blue suit, blue shirt, and a green tie. I think the width is slightly wider than Blake's, and black shoes.
Yes. So let's start with the good things here. The fit is great. It looks like the suit actually fits you. The shirt is not that bad.
Very athletic build, so that's probably why the suit fits me so well.
Yes.
The tie needs to. We need to burn that tie, like no,
Because of the
seriously.
color or the way it's tied or everything?
No, the color is so bad.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what you're thinking.
Okay, it was springtime. I got the cherry blossoms in DC. I got lost
We
in the
should
moment.
go with like bold colors.
Okay.
But not like this. This is like I'm coming from a Shrek convention or something.
So, quick question. Mike did the time before this one. He brought a paisley tie, and wanted to wear that. Do you have thoughts on paisley ties for Mike?
I don't know. I have to see that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna get shot down immediately, but no. Okay,
Yeah, as soon
great.
as Blake saw you, he reminded me he wore a similar one at his bar mitzvah. So
That's
then
true, I
I
did.
put that back in my pocket and I went no tie that day.
That's true.
Yeah, and since both of you have done the same mistake here, I thought about fixing it.
Okay.
So if I can have something from. Yes. So coming from Europe, I actually got you to ties.
Oh, and for the listeners, he has beautiful ties that he has brought, I think, for myself and Mike.
For you and Mike.
Wow.
So the green one is for you,
Oh, I got green.
and this is for Mike.
Oh, this has a lot of personality behind it. This is like a floral. So I'm very interested in wearing this now. I'm gonna let you know.
That was very
I
sweet.
think it's
of you.
going to beat your paisley tie.
Yeah, I mean I don't even know where it is anymore. It's back in the closet. Thank you, Emilio.
Maybe
welcome.
you're going to be breaking out a bonnet for Mindy later on. Is somebody going to be coming?
Mindy is doing phenomenal.
Oh,
You didn't
Mindy.
need to bring me any gifts.
Mindy's doing phenomenal. Okay, let's break Mindy down, please.
Let's break Mindy
No.
down. She's wearing like black heels, black trousers, a black blouse, and
Yes.
plum blazer, and an amazing bag. So she
Look at her; she's
ate
beaming. When you said "amazing bag," it's like her face just completely lit up.
10 out of 10. Like she ate and left no crumbs. Like she's doing amazing.
Amelia, you're so nice.
Well, so Mindy could just show up to Europe like that.
Yeah, she's
I
ready.
feel like that's a little wintry for summer in Europe, though. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean you can take off the blazer and you'll be
Oh.
fine without a blazer. Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, so I need to. So let's summarize here before
Yes.
to be ready to go to Europe. I need to fix my pants, burn my shoes, and wear this tie along with a polo shirt. Is that right? That's what I need to do?
No.
No. Okay.
Keep
I
the
was close.
tie. Don't wear the tie now.
Don't wear the tie.
No, go with a polo shirt.
Go with the polo shirt and wear the tie some other time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about Mike? So if we're summarizing Mike, he needed to do what did Mike need to do?
T-shirt with a suit. just to tone everything down. If you don't have to be on stage or do something like present something to multiple people, just tone it down a bit, wear a t-shirt, and you'll be great.
Great. And then Mindy.
Mindy, just be Mindy.
Mindy just.
Don't
There we
need
go.
There it is.
I
Once
love
again.
coming here.
This is Mindy's favorite part of the show. Well, Emilio, I feel like we all learned something. You know, life, we all try to get better, but you know what helps is when you have a friend who can come along the way and help you improve. And that's what you did for us. So thank you once again for coming back to the Messy Middle and imparting your fashion wisdom, sir.
You're very welcome.
And with that, I'd like to say thank you to our very special guests today, Secretary of State John Kerry and Data Protection Manager and fashion enthusiast Emilio. You both were wonderful. If you liked us, rate us, review us, like, follow, subscribe, and we'll see you next time here on The Messy Middle.